Raye's My 21st Century Blues, 16 songs, 47 minutes long. And I really don't know a lot about Raye going in. I guess this is her first like properly released record. And I know she's got, top billing on a number of festivals this year. I saw her on top billing of Parklife, for example. And, a lot of artists, especially after the pandemic, where there was a lot of fewer live music shows, during like the peaks of the pandemic, of course. Artists are now really eager to start touring and getting out there. And you're seeing a lot of classics, a lot of like the great ones are coming out there, but there's still always newer music and newer artists that are popping out there too. Enter Raye. Right. This is, just to get off the top, an eloquently produced record. I mean, almost to the point where it's almost a little bit highbrow, but I mean, the first song is called Introduction, the last song is called Finn, and it's one of those every song ends in a period type things. But it is a very modern neopop, read neopop, not R&B, record. Absolutely. And I enjoyed a lot of it. I think she has a really powerful voice, both lyrically and just like her singing prowess within that. And yeah, I'm excited to talk more about this. Go on.
Yeah, I really like how it's made because there's a lot of different tropes that you can hear throughout it. So obviously there's like your normal neo-pop sounds with Oscar-winning Tears, which, by the way, great title for a track. I love that.
The production builds and builds and builds in that like first 40 seconds, and you start to see like, okay, no, this is real ass music here. I mean, you get the introduction that feels like someone's like starting a show. There's even like a fun thing like turn off your cell phones. You're about to feel some shit in the intro part, and yeah, you really get that this is an upper echelon style production here with yeah.
And the like second track, Hard Out Here, you also get like similar production of that. And then what I like about it is the fourth track, as Black Mascara, it kind of takes a more of a pivot towards more dancey, more house influence and stuff. So it keeps this album rolling in a really good pace structure. So that way you don't get bored with it, or it's not the same sound the whole time. There's a lot of different tropes and stuff that are used throughout it, and an album that is 45 minutes long, there's a lot that is packed in here, which is great. And for a neopop record, fantastic, because I love it when you add different ideas, different tropes to a record to really make it complete. And Raye does this on this record.
Yeah, when you're getting into some of those tropes, like oftentimes that can be used in like a negative kind of way, where you're accidentally, or like especially in a neopop / R&B record, it's usually about love and all the elements around that as it relates to the artist in question. But some neopop or R&B or even pop records proper wear themselves out because they only talk about one aspect of love, or it's a person that you can see is just like attacking love in the same like one of three ways. It's like, I'm gonna fuck my feelings out, I'm going to cry my feelings out, I'm going to like be happy my feelings out, and then like rinse repeat, right? But in this album you get some really good shit. Like I forget what song it was, but there's I'll get to some of the features in a moment because it's very sparsely featured. Like the two main ones listed are 070 Shake and Mahalia, which are like S-tier choices. Both of them on their own have released some of my favorite R&B neopop records of doing this entire podcast. When it came to Love and Compromise, all the way back in 2019, we're really early in Audioface, from Mahalia, to 070 Shake with Modus Vivendi, and then You Can't Kill Me, which came out in 2020 and 2022 respectively. Those were all really phenomenal records, and so to see them on there is really good. But what I was saying when I was getting to the lyrical aspect of this that's different from most R&B records is that like there's one song on here that was like talking about how, yes, there's the trope of a woman who goes into a situation with a friendly guy thinking it's just going to be friendly, but the guy's just trying to get into his pants. And like that's a story as old as time. But in this record, you get it in the context of the music industry, which you don't really see talked about a lot, which I've now that I have some friends in the music industry who are women, I've heard about this a lot, where you get someone who like thinks you're cool. They say they like your work. You're like flattered. You're talented. They invite you to their recording studio. They whip out their cock. It's just like it's always not. It's not that brazen. Of course, like that is essentially sexual violence. But like that's pretty much the vibe that's being described here, and you get that in like the way she describes a lot of the stuff is just like really incredible. And I like seeing that. Both of us, I think, like seeing that range in an artist's lyricism.
Yeah. The features are fantastic. Like 070 Shake on Escapism right after Black Mascara is a fantastic placement of that track as well. And it breaks up the record to where you have all these different tropes, but it still plays smoothly, right? It doesn't bring it to a halt. It just keeps expanding onto what the sound that develops throughout the whole project. And that's what I love about this record.
Yeah,
it's a really good record.
Feel free to talk about the rest as well. Sorry, I'm playing the music live for the first time, and so I don't feel bad cutting off Sean in the edit because it's like, oh, he's talking about it. Let me throw in the song, and then he'll continue. But now it's kind of annoying because I'm cutting off Sean's flow. So like, continue talking about the record.
Yeah, I mean it. The second half of the record is good too. Like you have Flip a Switch, which is a track I like a lot, where it's like this blend of neo-pop, trap, just that sound that I like a lot, that if it's done right, it's good. Like mixing spoken word with singing too. And then Body Dysmorphia, Environmental Anxiety, both really good tracks too. And then that leads you up to 5-Star Hotels with why am I tripping? Mahalia, yeah. And again, it's like that's where it gets to get really, really good with the neo-pop sound, to where this is what modern neo-pop is like striving to be, and this is where it's done fantastically well, that I love.
Yeah, it's just really solidly produced, and you get a lot of, in the production as well, you get elements of not just traditional neo-pop where you're kind of taking the sound palette, so to speak, of rap and trap and pop music, and you're using a lot of synthesized computer sounds and 808s, but like you get some guitar strumming in there, you get some like really thoughtful uses of rhythm and bass and even like elements of blues in there, but like modernized, taken to the next level. It's really like the kind of stuff we want to see from this genre. So I've never been, there's some times where I've been a little bit more lukewarm on neopop than others, but definitely compared to other genres throughout doing the show, I've never felt like, oh, neopop is down bad in the same way I felt like, rock is down bad or like rap is down bad. But like you definitely have a lot of artists there who are flooding the scene, and they're harder to separate, harder to differentiate. Raye is the exception, and she's definitely like a front runner as far as like, it's very early on to tell like what's the best album of the year for 2023, but the execution here is pretty much flawless.
Yeah, it's a fantastic record, so you definitely want to check out the whole thing and listen to it in its entirety.
Yeah. Arbitrary scale. We do arbitrary scales every week on Audioface because our review is our review. If you have any random thoughts about, or you wish you had a letter grade or a number grade to it, I'm sorry, we're not going to quite do that. Every week we change up the ranking scale, and this week is going to be number of Chinese spy balloons floating over the continental United States. Is more better? Is less better? I don't know. We report, you decide. So I'm going to give this 8 Chinese spy balloons floating over all of the finest, most tremendous bases that America has to offer. The Montana one, the Dakota one, the Carolina one, just, everything. Let's go to the Aleutian Islands up in Alaska. We're getting that military base too.
I'm giving this 4 spy balloons plus 1 Zeppelin balloon. It's like 1 giant airship balloon. Plus me flying by it, shaking my wings, saying what's up.
It's going to be hard to carry the 2 on that and like do the math, but it's okay. It'll work out. Checking it in
that's the point of the fucking scale.
Damn right. Checking in chat. Smash asks the spelling of your name, and that's a great second question to ask once you learn Sean's name. And of course, it's the correct spelling, and it's SEA.
That's the only spelling.
The correct God's spelling, if you will.
It's God's way, exactly.
God's plan.
Free Ireland.